Good evening. At this time, please silence your phones and be advised that our proceedings are recorded. If you desire to address the City Council during the meeting, please complete a request to speak form. They are available at the entrance and give them to our City Clerk. At this time, I will call to order the City Council meeting of the City of Grand Terrace for August 28th, 2018. Wow, I'm just trying to be in the future already. Tonight, our invocation will be given by Reverend Father Andrew Lesko from St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church. He is also a chaplain with the San Bernardino County Sheriff. And immediately following that, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance led by Cindy Grande, who's the president of the Foundation of Grand Terrace. So if you would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the pledge to our flag.
Council for inviting me to come back for some reason, especially because for the past 13 years I've been assigned to the coroner's office of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. So any chance I get to speak to a living audience is really remarkable. Let us pray. O Heavenly King, the Comforter, Spirit of Truth, are present everywhere and fill us with all things. We thank you for the benefits that you have bestowed upon us, especially for our nation and for the men and women who serve in our armed forces and in our serve as first responders. This evening, we're especially thankful for our mayor and city council members who work tirelessly to keep this city of Grand Terrace such a wonderful place to live, work, and pray. And we ask, as we begin this meeting, that you grant them and all of us here present your wisdom, strength, understanding, and above all, patience, so that whatever we do in the course of this meeting, with the glory of your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Father Andrew. Thank you, Mrs. Grande. Madam City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Henderson.
Present.
Councilmember Hussey.
Present.
Councilmember Wilson.
I am here.
Mayor Pro Tem Robles.
Present.
Mayor McNabo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first up is our special presentations, of which we have one. We have an introduction of city employees by our city manager, G. Harold Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. For the record, G. Harold Duffy, City Manager. Mayor, I have the pleasure tonight to introduce 3 new employees that we have to the City Council and to the City of Grand Terrace. First up, we have Lisette Reyes. Lisette, why don't you come forward? Lisette is our animal code enforcement officer. That's her in her vehicle she goes around town in. Lisette joined us in July 26, 2018. She responds to code enforcement issues, parking enforcement issues, and animal control. The combined position of animal and code enforcement allowed the city to eliminate its $154,000 animal control contract with San Bernardino County, resulting in a savings to the city. Estimated savings this year will be about $50,000. This is one of those programs where the city combined resources, and we're very happy to have Lisette Reyes with us as joining our team. So if I could say a few words, Lisette, you can go over to the mic.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Reyes. I came from the city of El Monte Animal Control. I have 4 years of experience in animal control, and as I've worked in the city, it's my pleasure to serve all of you guys and the city and continue to make the city a better place.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Next up, Mayor, we have Zola Luna. And Zola's the office specialist. She's actually on the second floor. And Zola provides, she answers phone calls at City Hall. She processes our City Hall mail, operates the city's new electronic document imaging system that will help create transparency to city records. She does cashiering, processing purchase orders. She runs the budget reports for various departments. Her position was added in 2017-18. It was a replacement for 2 part-time intern positions. And so we wanted to give an opportunity for Zola to say, she met most of the council, give her a chance to introduce her to the community.
Good evening. My name is Zoila. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I am the new office specialist in the city clerk and city manager's office upstairs on the 2nd floor. If anyone ever needs anything, I'm here to serve you. It's a pleasure to be here at City of Grand Terrace. Recently was with City of Riverside, where I've covered many different duties there, many different tasks. So whatever you need me to do, I'm here to serve you all. Thank you.
Welcome.
And next up we have Jackie Guido. And Jackie is our senior bus driver. And there's a picture of Jackie with her operating the bus, helping a senior. Jackie started on May 29, 2018. She operates the city senior bus program, provides door-to-door service to and from the Grand Terrace Senior Center. She also provides special trips from the senior center to various areas like doctor's appointments, for shopping for the seniors, and also special events. I did want to note that this past June was the highest amount of riders we've had on the senior bus program. About 117 people for the month, and we're seeing our numbers grow dramatically. So the program is funded by $40,000 in grant funds, $10,000 from the AQMD, and $10,000 from the general fund to make up the overall budget. So we give Jackie a chance to say a few words.
Good evening, City Council, City of Grand Terrace residents. It's a pleasure to be here. A little bit about my background. I've been working with seniors for the last 10, 11 years, doing the same thing. I was previously with the City of Azusa and moved down to the County of San Bernardino and found this job, and I'm very grateful. It's been amazing. The seniors are so welcoming and have really brought me into confidence and just been loving to me all around. And, you know, I just love working here. If there's anything else I can do, any questions I can answer, please let me know, and I'd be happy to answer anything you would like to. Sorry, I'm really bad at public speaking. I didn't know that I was going to do this, so. But thank you so much. Have a good night.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just wanted to note that we decided to do a program like this because, you know, at one meeting, Mayor Pro Tem said, who's the new employee? And so we take it for granted that people in City Hall know, but it's good for the rest of the community to see who's providing them service. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon at one time by the City Council without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or citizen may request removal of an item from the consent calendar for discussion. Are there any requests to remove items from the consent calendar? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Wilson, second by Councilmember Henderson. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously with Council Members Henderson, Hussey, and Wilson voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem Robles voting yes, and Mayor McNabo voting yes.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment, and this is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any items not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the city council may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question for clarification. Items may also get a brief response from staff members, or they may be agendized for a future meeting. Do we have any requests for speaking during this time? Thank you. All right, we'll start with Cindy Grande.
Thank you, Mayor McDevoe, council members, City Manager Duffy, and Mr. Adams. Anyway, I appreciate being here, and I'm from the Foundation of Grand Terrace. I'm very happy to be able to present a large check. It's the balance of our dog park fund to be given to the City of Grand Terrace for your dog park endowment fund. And other foundation members weren't going to be here, but they're busy people and they're not here, so I just wanted to present this nice large checks to you.
Photo op? To tell us in the microphone how much money. Oh, it's made out to Mr. Jesse Smith. How lucky he is. So how much is the Foundation of Grand Terrace?
Well, at the
Giving to
beginning, when the dog park opened, I think that they gave you $5,000 for maintenance, and we're hoping that this money, it's $7,296.05, will be used for more maintenance and any amenities that we, whether it's cameras or more lights, whatever's needed. And we're so happy that the city has taken on this responsibility and done a wonderful job, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Bobby Forbes.
Thank you. Good evening. Bobby Forbes, 11850 Burns Avenue, Grand Terrace. I would like to say how nice the Movies in the Park events were. I got to attend two, and it was lovely. And I will say that it was my first time going to the Peta Park, the Peta Park, and it's fabulous. The atmosphere was so nice, and the temperature was perfect, which I know that has nothing to do with the park, but it was just so, so nice. I commend everyone that was involved in building it and putting together the movie shows and the whole bit, so it was very lovely. On a sadder note, while I was there, I received a post via Facebook that there was a fire in Colton. And so one of my clients has a house in Colton, and it was near where this fire was reported, and I went there. A gentleman died that night in that fire. One went to the hospital, and another one is totally displaced after living there for 25 years or more. And so the purpose of me bringing this up is because in the last 15 months, I've had clients or friends have 3 homes burned, 2 people die. 3 weeks ago, a friend of mine's house burnt. He went outside in the morning, got up, went outside, looked around, and his house was on fire. He lost everything except his partner and his 2 dogs, wallet, everything. So I'm having an electrician come into my house check everything out. If a plug doesn't work perfect, it's going to get fixed. And the purpose of bringing this up is so that everyone will check their electrical at their homes. If you're running extension cords to things, don't get a plug. Have your houses checked, because this is overwhelming to me. I was a mess yesterday. I slept all day, did nothing except sleep. I emotionally was wiped out from it. It has to be something that we take care of. It's just like when the dogs get out because the fences blow and the gates blow open and the wind and the rain. Check your houses. You could die over something really so simple that you're ignoring. So that's my spiel tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Forbes, and I appreciate the compliments, but great words of advice for people to listen to. So we'll move on to our council comments. We'll start with Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to echo the comments of Ms. Forbes regarding the movies in the park. I attended the fourth and final session. I believe I attended sessions 2, 3, and 4, and Susan Pettit Park was a wonderful venue, and the weather, as the mayor noted and I noted during the proceedings, was just perfect. Saturday was a busy day. I also attended the Grand Terrace Soccer Kickoff at Richard Rollins Park and the Grand Terrace High School football kickoff at Grand Terrace High School. So that's how the day started. The day ended with Baby Boss in Susan Pettit Park. If you haven't seen it, recommend it. It's good for young and old alike. Tonight at Grand Terrace High School, the County Fire Department is having a community meeting regarding a proposed parcel tax for FP5, Fire Protection Zone 5, which would include the city of Grand Terrace. Unfortunately, our meeting and the county meeting overlaps. That meeting begins at 6:30. Those of you who can go to that meeting, I'd highly encourage it. If all goes well, the City Council will be having a meeting on this topic once again prior to the Board of Supervisors taking this matter up on October 16th, if I recall correctly. This is a serious matter. It's important. It's a situation where we don't get a chance to vote on what is being imposed on the citizens of Grand Terrace. That parcel tax has an annual assessment of $157 and change. So there's a process to make your voices heard that is difficult to achieve a particular objective. But there are other ways to provide our input and protest to the County Board of Supervisors, and I'm hoping that we have a chance to discuss that when this matter is formally agendized by the City Council. That's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Henderson. Next is Councilmember Bill Hussey.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight, and welcome aboard to our new city staff. I know like I said before, I got to meet the animal control person on a Saturday when I had the little pit bull problem, and she did a really good job. So welcome. Just a couple things. I'm on the community cabinet for Colton Joint Unified School District, and the kickoff, the school year started, so we had all our board members meet, and just talking to the kids and what we're going to be doing this year, and a big focus was on, trade schools also, and electrical union was there, and their tradesmen, they're recommending that the school does more math classes for that trade. So there'll be more stuff to talk about that later, but if anybody would like to come, I'll post it when our next meeting is going to be. It's at least once every quarter. So it's really neat, seeing the kids, especially when they bring in kindergarten kids and they got tablets and they're programming and everything, and it just overwhelms me. I don't know what, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm just amazed. We did coloring books and that was it, And then I had a meeting with Assemblymember Reyes' staff, and I had 3 requests, and one was for the AB 2567, and that's the program where we have cameras on the street sweepers. It's a pilot program, and I talked to Daniel and asked if I could meet with Assemblymember Reyes, because I know Mr. Duffy's had 2 requests for this same thing, and that's to get the cameras back on the street sweepers so we're not wasting any man hours or staff. And I told him, since Assemblymember Reyes is big on, keeping everything green, I said, well, we're wasting, we're making, you know, a fiber footprint by having, you know, 2 vehicles follow, so maybe she might listen to that. And then I asked for a thing, we mentioned it before, but playground equipment for special needs children and adults. And they actually have funding for playground equipment, so working on that so we could have, you know, because I know we have some adult centers here, 2 homes that, you know, it'd be nice for them to go out to the park, even, you know, even at our senior place, if we get a place there with a swing for the wheelchair or something. And, you know, people's grandchildren come by, so if a senior's in the wheelchair and you have his grandchild on his lap and go on the swing, so things like that. And the children, you know, we don't want to forget about the children, special needs children, especially at the soccer field and the baseball field, because, you know, the parents are watching, they want to go see their brother or sister play ball, and they want to play on the playground equipment too. So doing research, there is a lot of neat playground equipment, so hopefully, you know, I'll keep that going at their office. And my last request was, you know, we talked about law enforcement, and the Assemblymember Reyes, she was at our Azure Hills night that night, and she, let me quote her, she said, whatever we need for this city, let me look into it, and I'm willing to help. So I'm going to keep her to that quote. And just like at the license plate cameras, if we could get more cameras, support equipment, money for overtime, because, you know, the state of California, in my opinion, made some problems with our crime. So I would like them to pay for this to help us cities. And if the Assembly member can give $500,000 to the city of Colton for a fire truck, I think she could give us something for our city. So that's all. I'm working on that. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, so I got nothing but time, and I'm going to be squeaking my wheel in her office. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hussey. Councilmember Doug Wilson.
Just briefly, Mayor, I also, along with my cohorts here, attended the kickoff for the soccer. Councilman Henderson and the mayor and I braved the heat, and it was an enjoyable experience. It reminded me of what it was like when my granddaughter was out there and kicking that ball around, and I was trying to figure out how to try to keep cool then, too. And then we also went over and made an appearance at the football kickoff, and that's my first opportunity to do that, and it was really nice, and I was amazed at what a fine facility that school is, and some really great kids, terrific. So other than that, you know, just working, so thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilson. Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Robles.
Yes, I don't really have a formal report. You know, we've been very busy as a council. And one of the things that I noticed yesterday, we had some people that we were interviewing for city attorney, and some people were my age group, and some people were having really a big difficulty with folding chairs. And so I had just, you know, sent an email to the city manager, and I wanted to share with all of you that there's been some literature now about people having to upgrade the kinds of chairs that people are using in community centers. And there's some that they, you know, they weren't very expensive. You know, I'm not going to choose them, of course, but it appears that, you know, that might be something we really need to do, even if we don't buy a whole room full. And it was just really nice to see, you know, some female attorneys that have been around in the days where they could talk about they were the first female attorney for this and that, and they're still working and contributing. Also, you know, I was just discussing with the mayor how much I enjoy during the summer getting out of air conditioning. And, you know, we have the Redlands Bowl, and Colton has Fleming Park, but maybe on a small scale, we can do something next year. And next year, you know, I'd even be willing to pay for one performance of something so we can keep this going. And finally, listening to Ms. Forbes, you know, we have on the horizon some ability to spend some RDA funds, and maybe we can have staff looking at, for a certain threshold of people, a small grant to do some repairs. You know, I think there was in the 90s a downturn, and then there was a housing bubble crash, and I think might be good to now give people a little hand on some important repairs that maybe they can't afford to do. And I think it uplifts our community to do that. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm just briefly going to thank the board members of the Grand Terrace Soccer League for the time and effort that they put into making that league what it is for our youth. And I will thank the football boosters for all the energy and enthusiasm that they put into the season for their football players. And once again, thank you to the Foundation of Grand Terrace for your generous donation to our dog park fund. And with that, I will move on to our next bit of business. We have no unfinished business, so we will move into new business. We will start with quarterly business license report for the period ending June 30th, 2018. Assistant City Manager, who is preparing to give us a presentation. Staff report by Assistant City Manager Cynthia Fortune.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. The report before you tonight is the business license report ending as of June 30th, 2018. The staff report supports goal number 1, ensuring our fiscal viability, and goal number 3, promoting economic development through the regular monitoring and reporting of business licenses issued by the city. So for this calendar year, since our business license renewal is normally in January and February for the last, for this fiscal year, we issued 35 new business licenses and 113 outside of the city, meaning their physical locations are outside, however they do business with the city. So based on that total of all the new business licenses issued, this fiscal year, 24% were in city. So what we're doing is doing a comparison to citywide. So for the whole year, current business licenses issued for 2018, again, bear in mind, January and February are renewal years, it's almost half and half. We have 288 business licenses within the city and about 278 outside. So some of the new businesses this year to note is Hajoka Corporation, which is a new plumbing supply company that had recently moved in. Odalberto's replaced Taco Village, and we are looking forward to the opening of Woody's Classic Grill. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions City Council may have.
Thank you for your report. Are there any questions of staff at this time? All right, seeing none, may I have a motion for receive and file?
Mayor, I move that we receive and file the report on business licenses.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Henderson, second by Councilmember Hussey to receive and file. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously with Council Members Henderson, Hussey, and Wilson voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem Robles voting yes, and Mayor McNabo voting yes.
Thank you. Item 5 is our treasurer's report as of June 30th, 2018. Again, Assistant City Manager Cynthia Fortune.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Before you tonight is the treasurer's report as of June 30th, 2018. This staff report supports goal number 1, ensuring our fiscal viability through the continuous monitoring of revenue and expenditure allocations versus actual receipts. So the purpose of this report is to provide the city and the successors agencies cash position at a certain point in time, this being June 30th, 2018, identify where all the cash is held, and show that there is sufficient cash resources to make economic commitments for the next 6 months. So the city's cash and investment report as of June 30th, 2018, totaled almost $27.5 million. That's on the bottom right. of which 20 million is with the successor agency, and as City Council is aware, the bulk of that are bond proceeds. The others is property tax monies held to pay for our annual debt service, and the city's cash is about 6.5 million. Now, the major changes in our cash position from last quarter, which ended March 31st versus the current quarter that we're reporting, June 30th, was an increase of 1.6 million, and that is a result of receiving our lost property tax allocation, the bulk of it, which was about 1.3 million. Now, if we compared our cash from, that should have been June 30th, 2017 to June 30th, 2018, we saw a decrease of 714,000. Again, the decrease was due to spending on the dog park and using the 289 in bond proceeds. Do you have any questions?
I think Councilmember Wilson has a question.
Yes.
Can we turn on your microphone?
I just need to understand, it says quarter ending March 31st, 2018 versus fourth quarter ending June 30th, 2018, increase of $1.6 million. It says bulk from property tax receipts of 1.3 million? Or is that?
General fund. Yeah, remember we get about almost 4 million in property tax. This is just an allocation. This is part of our budget. This is expected receipts.
Okay. So we were at $1.3 million and now we're at 1.6 worth of receipts, in other words, or revenues.
Yes, the increase
Okay.
was due to receiving that.
I thought what was trying to be displayed was is that the property tax receipts for the county were $1.3 million and not, maybe $1.3 billion, and we got our percentage. That's all I wanted to find out. So, okay, thank you.
So again, what we check is the ability for the city to operate for the next 6 months in the event of any hazard. And the formula we devise on that is our total pooled cash, as I reported, is 6.5 million. And now we look at I apologize, that should have been changed to 18-19. So we look at our current budget. Our total current budget is about 12.9 million, reducing the successor agency, because they're not literally part of the city. Our total approved 18-19 budget is 8.7. Cash required for the next 6 months would be almost 4.4 million. And since we have 6.5, it shows that, yes, we are solid and we can continue operations for the next 6 months, should we not receive any more revenue. That concludes my report. I would be happy to answer any questions City Council may have.
Thank you. Any questions at this time? Councilmember Hussey.
How much interest do we make out the bank for sitting in there? I mean, are we getting anything?
From the bank or from LAIF? What we try to do, if it is cash that's going to sit, we always push it up to LAIF, and I think their current interest is 2%.
What was that?
Their current interest rate is 2% at the local agency investment fund.
All right, thank you.
All right, any further questions? Any request to speak on this item? All right, I will bring it back to council for consideration of a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Councilmember Hussey, or excuse me, Councilmember Henderson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Robles. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously with Council Members Henderson, Hussey, and Wilson voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem voting yes, and Mayor McNabb voting yes.
Thank you. We'll move to item 6, which is our capital improvement program for fiscal years 18-19 and 22-23. Mr. Alan French, Public Works Director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council.
Is that 18-19 through 22-23? Are we skipping over those fiscal years?
18-19 to 22-23.
So it's the sequence of fiscal years, correct?
Through those years. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. Alan French, Public Works Director, as the mayor said. I'm here to present this item to you, is the annual update for the CIP program that we have. This item supports Goal 2030, number 2, maintaining public safety by investing in critical improvements. This annual update is required by SBCTA, who manages our Measure I pass-through funding. This measure is for local roads. The CIP, Capital Improvement Program, was approved by the City Council back in November of 2016. It adopted a 5-year program to address road maintenance for, local roads. Year 1 consisted of basically 79 streets of slurry seal and grind and overlay of 2 streets. Year 2 included slurry sealing of 24 streets and grinding and overlaying of 11 streets. The project for the remainder of the program will come back as we acquire funding at each year. Those projects will come back for council approval. There's a change to an exhibit on the packet, packet page number 129, and these are list of projects, categorical projects for the fund. Recently, we were made aware of a guardrail program that we were trying to implement. We had a consultant looking at the viability of that. And just recently, they let me know that it looks like it may be a good candidate for funding. So I did want to add it, and it's in the lower right-hand portion of that exhibit. We added it in there so that if we do need funds for the program, we would be able to use the Measure I funds for that. At this time, the staff is recommending council adopt the resolution approving the 5-year Measure I capital improvement program. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. French. Are there any questions of staff at this time?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilson.
Whereabouts are the guardrails planned for?
We have guardrails existing along Barton as you're leaving the city toward the east. And then we have some along Vista Grande as you're going along the cliff, and some on Vivienda on the west side of the town. And any of them, we'll survey all of them, and any of them that need repair or upgrading would be candidates for the project.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hussey.
Now, this was with Measure I money. Is that also considering the new gas tax? And if the gas tax doesn't approve, or?
No, this was our yearly allotment, but should SB1 continue, that would just give us additional money to go farther with the program. Right now, our yearly maintenance that we're doing is covered by our annual allotment. If we were to keep SB1, we would just be able to do that many more streets sooner. If SB1 doesn't pass, then we would be scaling back our program.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Hussey. One of the things that SBCTA requires all the members to do is to have a plan like this on file so that they know how the funds are being used. Any further questions? All right, we'll open up to public comment. Are there any requests to speak?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, so I'll bring it back to council for consideration of a motion.
I move adoption of Resolution 2018, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace in the County of San Bernardino, State of California, adopting the Measure I 5-year capital project needs analysis for fiscal years 2019 through 2020, through 2023, through 2024.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, second by Councilmember Hussey. Did you need to read more of that?
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, that was the wrong resolution. The resolution is item number 6.
Oh, I moved up a page. Said
Well, I
me-
second the other one. then.
Okay, so you,
measure-
so you'll.
I
so
said
you'll-
measure I.
So you'll amend your
Oh.
motion then?
Yeah, I see that. I jumped ahead. Okay, let's start over. Adopt resolution number 2018, approving the 5-year Measure I capital improvement plan for fiscal year 2018-19 through fiscal year 2022-23. Item 6, right?
Second that one, too.
All right.
Are we good for the next one?
We don't have to do it.
Can we just vote in sequence? All right. So there's been a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Robles, second by Councilmember Hussey. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously with Council Members Henderson, Hussey, Wilson voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem Robles voting yes, and Mayor McNamara voting yes.
All right, thank you. Item number 7, Measure I capital projects need analysis for fiscal year 2018-19 through 23-24. Public Works Director Alan French.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Here to present the update for the capital project needs analysis, which is again part of Measure I, but this is for major roads throughout the city that we're utilizing these funds for. There is a correction on the title of this agenda item. It reads 2018-2019. It should read 2019-2020. So the recommendation is correct. It was the title of the item. This item supports 2030 goal number 2 to maintain public safety. The capital needs project program supports major roads throughout the city. The city is required to adopt the 5-year program, similar to just what Mayor McNamara had stated earlier about the CIP program. This is a similar program. And SBCTA requires the adoption of a 5-year plan. The first one was done back in June in 2017. And this adoption and this money really is what we're using for our Commerce Way project. So that project qualified for these funds, and that's what we're planning to utilize the funds for. It includes the extension of Commerce Way to the south to Taylor and Main, and a north-south collector street to Van Buren as well. The CPNA, as the projects get completed, that's the reason for the updates every year. You can change the projects or move funding around as you need it. So, and that's what this update does. And also, I do need to make another clarification on packet page 140. The new handout, which is shown here, represents the funding and the fiscal years for that funding for the project. That update was provided by SBCTA earlier this week. So with that, the staff is recommending adopting the resolution for the new CPNA 5-year plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. French. Are there questions of staff at this time? Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I just want to, it says that by extending Commerce Way from DeBerry Road to Main Street from 0 to 4 lanes and constructing a new north-south collector from DeBerry to Van Buren in lieu of widening Michigan from 2 to 4 lanes. Because we've had people come here with that concern for a number of years, so I just wanted to state, so Michigan will remain 2 lanes.
That is the plan, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, once Commerce is in, that should handle all the north-south traffic and truck traffic. And I'm sure a lot of the high school traffic would prefer to go that way because it'll be a more direct route. But we do plan on taking all that traffic off of Michigan as best as we can.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember Hussey.
Well, that's a good point that the Mayor Pro Tem brought up. I wonder if the city can go ahead and let those residents know in that area that that's off the board so they can at least sleep well at night, because I know they were pretty upset that night. So at least, send a letter out or something. But that's a good point that was brought up.
City Manager Duffy, did you have a comment?
Only that, yes, we can certainly do that. We can follow up with a letter to the residents. Just, we'll send them a copy of the packet report, and we'll highlight the section that the Mayor Pro Tem read.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, seeing none, are there any requests to speak on this item?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. We'll close public comment and bring it back to council for consideration of a motion. Did you want your previous motion to stand, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, because we resurrect my motion, and we can get your second back.
I'll second it.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Robles, a second by Councilmember Hussey. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously with council members Henderson, Hussey, and Wilson voting yes, Mayor Pro Tem Robles voting yes, and Mayor McNabb voting yes.
All right, thank you. Next is City Manager Communications, Mr. Duffy.
Yes, Mayor, and I'll be very brief. I just wanted to remind the council that we do have the Grand Terrace Family Picnic and Car Show at the Terrace View Elementary School to help celebrate our fabulous 40th anniversary on Saturday, October 13th, from 11 to 6 p.m. You have a group of citizens that are actively working to move this program forward, and their letters have gone out to various parts of the community. The whole goal and concept here is to invite our local organizations to be able to show different activities. This will be a car show. We're also inviting businesses, local businesses, to come out so the local residents know what's available for local business retailers. And with that, I conclude my report. Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Our next item is a closed session, so we will be recessing to closed session. For those of you that will not be here when we come back, I'll just let you know that our next regular City Council meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Agenda item request must be submitted in writing to the City Clerk's office no later than 14 calendar days preceding the meeting. Thank you all for being here tonight. You still may be able to catch some of the County Fire District's meeting at the Grand Terrace High School. So at this time, we will recess to closed session. We have one item, which is public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title City Manager. At this time, we are in recess. We will reconvene to open session. City Council met in closed session. We had one item, which was public employee performance evaluations pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title City Manager. We had discussions and we gave direction to staff, no reportable actions. And so at this time, we will adjourn our meeting to the next regular City Council meeting to be held on Tuesday, September 11th, 2018 at 6 p.m. Agenda item requests must be submitted in writing to the City Clerk's office no later than 14 calendar days preceding this meeting. Thank you. We are adjourned.